All right, so first review of the day. Sage is going to bring it to us. He's got a video game review, and that video game is going to be for Okami. Sage, take it away.
Yeah, Okami originally released in 2009, I believe on the PlayStation 2 and the Wii, or 2007, sorry. And this game is by Hideki Kamiya, the guy that was behind the original Devil May Cry, Bayonetta games, Beautiful Joe, the very first Devil May Cry. Lots of great action games. And this got a sequel announced at the end of 2024 at the Game Awards, which I'd always heard about this game. I've seen people talk about it, but I didn't really know it particularly deeply. And I thought, why not? Let's take this opportunity with the new game on the way. Let's dive back into this old gem. Something that had been in my backlog for nearly 20 years at this point. Um, but what I was immediately surprised by is how well this game holds up. You can see right in the footage here there's this just absolutely fantastic cel-shaded art style that they have that has made the game age very, very gracefully. There's not a lot of other games from the same year that look anywhere near this good. It's got like a moving painting quality to it. And that's perfect because one of the main gameplay mechanics is like painting. There's this, whole combat system is hinged on this thing where you freeze time and you unlock more. It's kind of like your almost Zelda style upgrades as you keep getting more of these symbols you can paint to do various things. So bombs or all sorts of different environmental interactions that you have to unlock. Um, a lot of what makes this game, I think, feel so expansive is it kind of taps into the same sort of level design as the kind of like Ocarina of Time to Twilight Princess, that like decade or so of Zelda games, that big 3D world where you're kind of going from like smaller piecemeal, uh, mini open environments that aren't huge, but they're able to connect so many together and make you feel like you're going across this really vast space, even though it's not that big. Um, but it's able to have this epic adventure feel. I think you can also see some serious like Studio Ghibli inspiration going on here as well. You can, I think, just get a sense from the spirit animals that they're using here. You play as a god in this. That's the sun god Amaterasu, the wolf there. And you are slowly kind of bringing this land back to life. It's like decayed and infested with demons, and you're slowly like cleaning the land for these several like small villages and societies. Um, yeah, it's got a lot of personality. Um, the voice acting is a little weird. That's one thing because it's not fully voice acted. It's you remember like the first couple of those Lego games they did where they kind of like pantomime things but make like a
Yeah.
lot of grunting noises.
You
It's
see
very
them
kind of
do it
similar.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's subtitled and then they just make these kind of weird repetitive noises. And there's a lot of dialogue. It's a big adventure game, not quite an RPG, but something like a Zelda, right, where you have a lot of dialogue you have to sit through and lore that'll be dropped and sometimes the noises that the characters were making could just get on my nerves just a little bit because it would just be like an endless loop of these noises. So that was one negative, I think. I would love to see them do something a little more dynamic in the new one, or just have it be no sound at all and just read the subtitles. Um, we also have a lot of the footage too in this trailer right here that's being shown. A lot of footage of the different boss fights, a lot of really cool monsters. It's kind of Zelda-like when you fight them in the way that it's a bit of a puzzle, but scale wise, it actually feels like kind of epic, big, big scale monsters. Not quite to the point of like a God of War, but I think bigger than your average adventure game of the time. Um, is this one that you have any kind of familiarity with over the years?
I've heard about it like you. I've never played it myself. There was a recent deal there on the Nintendo store that you can get this for $10. I don't know if it's still
That's a
that way.
great price.
I don't know if you can still get it for $10, but that was a good deal. I did pick it up, but I have not played it yet. There with that, but yeah, so I have heard about it. Yeah.
And it is a little bit of a time commitment. It's not, it's not like a 100-hour RPG like you get with some games nowadays, but being the type of Zelda type adventure game that it is, you can, I'd say, even if you're mostly just sticking to the story and you don't mess with a lot of the side quests, I think you'd hit about 30 hours with this, even just mainlining the story. And then if you spend a lot of time exploring and talking to every single NPC and doing little side quests and treasure hunts, there's even like bounty quests of like finding like a specific like list of spirits, uh, and having like combat challenges and like the kind of open world. There's quite a bit there. You could probably run yourself up to between 50 and 60 hours.
Okay, so that's a good amount of game. 50, 60 hours. That's a lot.
Yeah, for a game back then in that era, I think that's exceptionally long. And then today for a game that is, even if it's only a sale price, probably regularly on sale for $10. That's a lot of game for that.
Mm, okay, yeah. Let me see what the price of it on is now. How much did you pay for it, and which platform did you play the game on?
So I played this on the PlayStation 5. This is the HD version that's been released on modern consoles. I think it's been updated a couple times. It's just gotten a little touch up kind of each console generation. Um, so it's a very, very popular game, and it seems to have done well for itself over its life. But yeah, I played it on the PS5. It looks amazing, um, even despite its age. It's really, really, I think, a special game for being able to hold up so well. Because like a lot of stuff from that time looks pretty not pretty not great at this point. I mean, there's a few exceptions, but this has just got such a unique standout art style that it just I don't know if it'll ever fully age out. And that's me very excited to see what that sequel looks like because it's obviously been a long time coming, and they did not rush one quite clearly. So they must have a very particular idea. It's the original director back and everything. He quit Platinum actually, which is the studio that's done Bayonetta, which has been led by that same creator. He started a new studio for this, which is now kind of working side by side along Capcom.
Nice, very nice. So you can play it on, like you said, multiple platforms. You played it on the PlayStation 5 there. You can also play it on the Switch. That's available there. You can also play it on the Xbox One. So Okami was one of the last PlayStation 2 games released prior to the release of the PlayStation 3. I'm talking about the original game here. And it was not commercially successful, leading to the closure of Clover Studio following the departure of Kamiya there and other leads on the game. Although suffered from poor sales, the game received critical acclaim and earned IGN's 2006 Game of the Year. And so yeah, so the game did get really huge amounts of critical acclaim when it did first come out there. Very, very nice. Would you say this is one of the greatest games ever made? Would you put it on like a list of 100 or?
Um, I might. I honestly I do think I might. It's very well designed. It's very intuitive. You've got, this fantastic kind of open world, really great set of combat mechanics that's just not like anything else in any game I can think of. Like there are singularly unique mechanics to this that just I've not once seen reappear in another game. And because it's managed to age so gracefully, it's held up as probably one of the best of its era. Um, and that's coming from me, you know, with no real nostalgia for it. This is a first time experience for me, And yeah, I mean, it still managed to leave an imprint. It might not have left as it might not have blown my mind quite to the degree that it blew the minds of people that played it on the PlayStation 2 back in the day. That probably was just an incredibly formative like video game experience. But I still say it's incredibly uh it still leaves an impact after that much time.
So it's $20. $20 on the Nintendo Store, $20 on Steam. It's $20 also on the PlayStation Store.
And
So
that's its regular, not on sale price.
yep, that's just regular now. So it's $20. So people want to pick it up, but
That's a great deal for it.
yeah, so still pretty good. $20 if people want to pick up an older game there. When is the sequel? Is it any kind of rumor of when the sequel is going to be coming out?
So the little video that they did put out, it was a maybe minute long teaser. It wasn't even like in-game footage. It was just a cinematic. It just said Okami sequel too. It didn't even have like a subtitle or a number attached. I don't even know if they've settled on a title fully. But it's probably not going to be. I'd put my money on 2027 at the earliest.
Mm, yeah. So would you want it to kind of keep that same cell shaded style, or would you? What kind of would be a modern version of that style updated for 2027 or something like that that you can kind of compare it to?
Um, Something else that's got a similar style. I feel like you don't see a ton of cell shaded graphics nowadays, but one example I that comes to mind, and it would still be a very different art style because this has got that a little bit of that like watercolor kind of feel to it, and this bright fantasy world. But there was a game in I believe 2022 called Roller Drum, which is kind of like a Jet Set Radio meets Tony Hawk's Pro Skater meets Max Payne sort of thing, and it had the kind of Jet Set Radio, Okami, thick, dark, cell shaded, black outline style to it. And this game is probably the closest to a modern equivalent of something like that. You really just don't see that style very often anymore. Um, this is like a 2D animation. This is an actual gameplay, but like the in-game graphics of this
Let me go to
are
the
very
image.
much this. This was a great game too, by the way, that nobody talks about.
Let's see. Let me go to some gameplay footage here. Okay, I see what you mean. Let me show it.
Yeah, it's got the thick lines. It's the very like bright, vibrant colors to it.
Mm. And you just rolling around shooting people.
Yeah, it's literally their arenas. It's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, where you've got like a list of tricks and a time limit, but there's also like Max Payne bullet time mechanics. So you get your time slows down when you're in midair and doing kills alongside because you're literally on rollerblades, doing them alongside like flips and like more traditional like tricks is what builds up like combos. So it's like a Running Man almost, where it's like a futuristic blood sport type of thing.
Okay. Uh, so what would be your rating for Okami HD?
Well, this is a real journey to go on. I'm almost mad at myself for waiting so long to actually sit down and give the game a try because it deserves the attention. There's a lot of game here, and it's sold. You're going to be able to get it for a good price, $20 at the most. It's on sale frequently. I highly recommend it to anybody that is a fan of like Zelda, especially that kind of N64 to Wii era Zelda game. Even with the turning into a wolf in Twilight Princess, there's a bunch of similarities to this because that came out like I think the same year even as this game did. Um, but there's a lot to explore. There's a lot of great combat here. It's always a visual feast to look at. I would honestly, I'd give this game a this is cinema. I really don't have much in the way of real criticism. Some of that kind of grumbly voice acting stand-in noise I thought got a little annoying, a bit repetitive. but it's not like a massive design flaw by any means.
Okay. And Kamiya there, Hideki Kamiya. So it is modeled off of the Legend of Zelda, which the director says is one of his favorite games. Their favorite series is Legend of Zelda. So there is that. So you get that inspiration there with it. So a very high praise from Sage there. Gives a highest rating of This Is Cinema for Okami there. HD. Pick it up on all the platforms.